Hi, everybody. Matt here from Matt Likes Comics. I'm glad to see everybody who's here tonight because we've got a wonderful guest coming. He has got probably one of the best comic book collections that I personally have ever seen, even a small part of. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, and gentle people, of course, please welcome to the stage, Mr. Mancave Comics himself, Doc. How are you, Doc?
I'm very well, Matt. Even better now that I'm here hanging out with you, my man.
Awesome.
Thank you for having me.
Has it been quiet for you in terms of buying books lately, or have you made some
It's never quiet. It's a constant slog. Yeah, the
truth is, if it ever becomes a slog, you could need to get out.
Yeah, no, I say that word, but I love it. So
yes, I know. I don't think there's a bigger feeling in the world. I mean, it used to only be when you were box digging or looking at people's walls, but it is but now with the internet, it makes it a lot easier in a lot of cases, although you're paying more because of the shipping and all that other stuff, but you can find just about anything you want to find. I have actually found that internet searching has taken a slight little bit away from the fun of the hobby, only in the sense that you don't get that fun of discovery, that you're like, woohoo, you're pulling it out.
I agree. And I have two avenues of collecting. One is slab books that are valuable or I like them in high grade, or they mean a lot to me, but I want them slabbed so I can put them. I don't have anything in my frames today. I apologize. I took them all. My last one's all down and I haven't put anything in there. And then I have raw books that I buy, which I don't nearly, I'm not nearly as picky, and I don't go on eBay to order raw books. That's cheating. That is searching, buying from friends, maybe trading. And I only cheated once. I had the other day I had the full Alien Legion. It was a Marvel Epic series that was pretty good, and I thought I had the whole series, and it turns out I was missing one. And I was so annoyed that I just went on eBay to buy it. And sure enough, I bought the wrong one. So I ended up having two 13s, and I thought I was missing 13. I was missing 12. So I had to do that twice, and it was like $6, because of shipping and handling, not because that book's worth $6. It's a dollar bin book. You find that book, it's a dollar bin book, literally.
The hardest part for me is when you throw in, like, I get it. If it's in the United States, it's a dollar bin book. I find it, but then shipping is $26.
Exactly.
It's like, come on. And the thing is, Canada has a good supply of Silver Age up, but anything older than that, it is absolutely almost difficult to find. The only thing, if it weren't for people like Alan and maybe myself that are importing American books, we don't have many Golden Age up here in Canada due to the ban that they had for the longest time. Our country just loves banning stuff.
Yeah. So I do a lot of, like yesterday I was at my LCS and I actually found a raw X-Men 135 and 137 that was pretty decent. I was like, I'm trying to finish the Cockrum Byrne run, and so I found two of those. That was a big score.
Yeah, I think that the stupidest one of the stupidest things DC Comics ever did, apart from the way they treated Jack Kirby, was letting Dave Cockrum go.
Yeah.
Cockburn, sorry. Yeah. Cockrum, sorry.
Cockrum, yeah. Cockburn is from what's his name? That the movie with that was John Wayne originally, and then it was you know what I'm talking about, the Western.
Yeah, I know. But I mean,
great movie.
Cockrum did a great job on the Legion of Superheroes. He was the one that started all the 1970s changes to the uniforms and stuff.
Oh, I didn't know
that Mike Grell finished. Mike Grell replaced him when
I did not know that.
Yeah, Cochran did 72 to 74, I believe.
Okay.
And then he moved over to the X-Men, and but back when not long after DC Comics let him go.
Yeah.
Like I can't. Yeah. And you know why Dave Cockrum left? No. He brought Nightcrawler to DC Comics and said, "I want to add this character to the Legion," and DC said no.
Oh, that is cool little trivia.
Yeah, and so Nightcrawler ended up in the giant-sized X-Wing, X-Men, and X-Wing. X-Men.
May the force be with you.
Maybe it was the discussion we had before.
We'll mix all our. All
right, well, let's take a minute to say hi. To say hi to everybody who's in the crowd today. K Munin, you're first. Good to see you, Andres.
I want verification. I don't believe it. I think KM
It's
was
right
probably
here.
second.
It's the first one listed, so I would say he's first. And we've got Tan in the house.
What's up, you're 10?
Thank you very much for the thank you very much for the super chat. And I want to point out to everybody, we are doing a giveaway on the Sunday superhero show this weekend. Hiratan has very kindly donated the prize for the giveaway.
Ooh.
And so you know it's good. And on Sunday, you will have to be there because I'm going to try that thing with the StreamYard hashtag giveaway. You're going to have to be there in order to win the giveaway this time.
He is a very generous individual. He is.
He's local. He's local.
Really good guy.
Yeah, he's
Canadian, man. I used to really shit on Canadians, but you guys are some of the best comic collectors and in the comic verse. Alan, you, Hiratan, Yaniv, he was actually trying to become a U.S. citizen, but he's still Canadian, really. And there's probably 5 more that I haven't thought about.
Lyle.
Yeah, Big Lyle. There's even more than that. Not Sleepy Reader, but there's a number.
Comic Vet is Canadian, so is Uncanny Derek and Bleecker, of course.
I have a friend who's Canadian who sold his Porsche, I'm sorry, so he could buy the famous Funnies Weekly with Submariner first appearance. That's not really his first appearance, but there's only 10 existing. So those Canadians are serious about comics, man.
Oh, that's awesome. Robbie's here. It's good to see you, Robbie. John Harrison is here.
Speaking of generous people, Robbie Joseph.
Robbie Joseph is one of the best.
Absolutely.
Lau is here, another local Ottawa guy who's a really good artist.
Lau, yeah.
Rich is here. Hi, Rich.
Rich, I missed your big live show, but I got to catch it on rerun. Saturday's a tough day for me sometimes, but I want to know I'm thinking about you guys. Doing a great job.
Longest Cosplays is here.
Ooh. Hello.
Good to see you. Jeff is here. No, it's not about Dork.
I do have that, actually, the Dork, but only one. I got to read it. I think it's a cute read, probably.
Nate has popped in. It's good to see you.
Yes.
The wonderful, awesome, immortal Biggie Mac. and the immortal Biggie Chic.
Love it.
It's good to see you guys. Mike Dennis is here. Hi, Mike. Mike is also a very generous guy. He sent me Fox and the Crow 1 and 2. He's a very, along with some other comics. K Munin, if you want to see Lau's comments, change your thing from top comments to all comments in the top of your chat. Yeah,
Laos has been demoted to substandard comments, so you have to ask for all of them to get his special lowbrow comments. No,
Lewis is here, and apparently he's superior because he exists.
That is truly what New Yorkers believe, having lived there for 6 years in New York City. Yep.
And we have Thomas O'Donnell, one of the biggest Legion fans I know as well. And that's
a man of good taste and sound judgment.
Yeah. And that's everybody that's here at the moment. So, Doc, what have you brought for us tonight?
Well, first of all, I brought you Eagles. Eagles, but we won't try to emphasize that. I know there's not too many of you. We're obnoxious, man.
One of our local sportscasters is a big Eagles fan. So every time the Eagles win, he plays the chant on the radio. That's why.
Gotcha. Yeah, it is. You can walk down the street and start yelling at, and everybody will join in. Sort of like remember Pee Wee Herman and Big Adventure when he's like, "The stars at night are big," and everybody's like stops and deep in the heart of Texas. Yeah. I was actually in Florida when they played the Bills, who they managed to beat by luck somewhat. And I looked up Eagles Bar in Fort Lauderdale area, and there were 4 dedicated Eagles bars in Fort Lauderdale. I was
not surprised.
Yeah, they're sort of a crazy fan base.
And
Terrell. Did he do a dab? I can't even remember what he did. Shoot, I'm forgetting what Terrell did. Yeah,
I think he did the eagle thing with the wings.
Or I mean, they do all sorts of crap, and I can hardly remember what I read yesterday. Much less.
See, all he did in Buffalo was drop balls.
He was pretty good on the Eagles for sure. He definitely had his moment.
Well, Owens, he had quite the personality. My only ever live NFL game, I was in Buffalo, and it was against the Eagles. We saw Michael Vick. That's how long ago it was.
I have an admission, Matt. I've actually never been to a live football game. I
Wow.
like watching football in the comfort of my home with the television, so I can yell and scream, even though you can do that in Eagles
I
game.
I
And
like doing that too,
yeah,
but the NFL experience is so much better than the Canadian Football League experience that if I have a chance, I'm going to do it again.
yeah, I think it's a good
I've
idea.
done. We have a local team in the Canadian Football League, and it's not. It's the NFL is heads and tails
Right,
over
right.
over it. So
Well, you asked what I'm going to show, and last time we did Big Golden Age DC, but I didn't get to Batman, so we're going to do Batman. But I don't have enough Batman for the whole thing, so I'm going to do some continuation, more modern stuff of stuff that I sort of covered last time, DC, that I have slabbed, focusing on slabs right now, and then we'll get to Batman at some point. So the big books are coming later. So
big books, yes. And people, if you want to see something really big, stick around. Let me tell you, there's going to be a real big one coming.
Now we'll start really not small because I love this series and it's totally modern, but this is one of the things got me reading comics again when I had stopped a while. But good old Animal Man.
Animal Man, TM loves him.
Yeah, great series, man. A great read, and
we did the one with the Coyote for
Grant Morrison, and yeah, he did. It was just a great story, and I don't.
Doc, you okay? I think you're freezing up on us.
I just froze. I froze. So it looked like I froze. So that was my technical difficulty. If things get choppy, let me know. But I got this from my any fans of Mint Hunter Comics here?
James. I know James. I haven't bought anything off.
Yeah, James.
But I haven't. He always seems to have his. He has his online sales at the same time that I'm doing other stuff. So.
His online sales, I never buy anything from him online because he has 150 people watching, and it gets anything I want is claimed way before I can even type it. It's really sort of annoying. But I happen to work about 30 minutes from where he has his comic shop, so I go visit. And if he has a big 9/8 something, he'll always run it. He'll send me a text. So I just saw this in the shop. I was like, I'll take that, man. I have the Raw series, but that's the only graded Animal Man comic I have. And it's not, I mean, I think it's a $20 book, but it's even graded, but it's just fun to have. Now, last time, and you probably know way more about this series than I do, Matt, because you are a true student of all the DC comics, and I'm trying to catch up. I don't get me wrong, I read my comics, but I can't remember what I read when I was 12 very, very well. So this I also got from Mint Hunter, and so I showed All-Star Comics, only two that I had last time. So here's a sort of a
the All-Star Squadron.
Yeah, first Amazing Man here.
First Amazing Man, and it's in a fight with the Ultra Humanite that.
Yes.
The Ultra
Humanite, quick, Matt.
Action Comics 13.
You got it, baby.
Oh yeah, he's my favorite. Ultra Humanite is my favorite evil villain.
First cover appearance?
Oh, I want to say, oh geez, I don't think he was on the cover at all.
He was. It's uncertain because I just happened to cheat because I forget who did a first 10 super villains of ever, and Ultra Humanite was on the list, and they said his first cover appearance was actually in the Justice League comic, Justice League of America.
That was exactly what I was thinking. And he was the ape then. He was the ape-like character. He was no longer Dolores.
Yep. So we got the Roy Thomas storyline, and I'm not even sure I had this. This came out in 1983, Matt. Yeah, and I was in boarding school in India from early 1983 to early 1986. So my mom sent me tons of comics when I was in India, but I don't think I had this. So that's one I did not read. You hear me all right? I know I was choppy there.
We've heard you. We haven't had the problem of hearing you. It's most on occasion your visuals.
Yeah, I'm seem like I'm freezing a little bit. My internet, I think Alan infected my internet. I gotta like get it.
Which is funny because he fixed his.
And here's my other all-star squadron book.
First Infinity Incorporated.
Yeah, it's such a this book appeals to me because I was always a fan of like the one of the reasons I love Legion of Superheroes was any cover that had a bunch of superheroes on it, especially if they're ready to throw it down, was a big fan. And plus the Guardian, man, the original, the Golden Age looking Guardian at the bottom there.
I really do credit Roy Thomas in that series. The amount of research he did to make sure that he had the right information when he did them for things like guys like characters like Liberty Bell and Johnny Quick, Tarantula, who are only, in some case, Tarantula only had 14 stories,
right,
overall.
And Liberty Bell is a Golden Age character from the Young Allies, right? Not Young Allies. What's the boy group? Boy Commandos.
Well, she was in the same book, but she wasn't. They were Liberty Bell was only like 20, 21 issues herself. Right. Johnny Quick lasted a while, but.
And I know you're a fan of Dungeons and Dragons too. I heard that.
I certainly am. I remember seeing that game. Alan probably had that because he told me he had it in television.
Now, at some point, Matt, if you want to hang out and show Dungeons and Dragons stuff, I have boxes of Dungeons and Dragons stuff that I love that game and have a large amount.
I don't have as much as I used to. I actually did get rid of some of that, and I lost some in the flood.
Yeah. There might only be 4 people in your audience, so if we do that, but I don't know.
Or it might get bigger. Hey, somebody's showing D&D shit.
That's true. It could be. So there was my 2 all-star squadrons. And again, I got those from James.
Mark, that is exactly why they never abbreviated it. Justice.
A lot of justice going on out there.
Yeah.
Here is, now this is actually a pretty high grade for this book. And you'll see why in a second.
Oh, nice looking book.
So this is Aquaman 11, first Mira. And there are only like a few 9.0s and a few, I think the highest grade period is like a 9.4. So it's actually a tough book to get in high grade, to say the least. And this is a really nice copy.
Yeah,
and is it Nick Cardy? Yes, it is Nick Cardy.
Yeah, I think Nick Cardy did the vast majority of Aquaman covers.
Right.
I don't think he did them all, but he did
the very first one, and like the first 2 or 3 he didn't, and then he took over after that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then Neil Adams did a couple in the end.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And they had that weird Submariner crossover. Was that from Aquaman, or was that right?
I think so, but it was never called the Submariner.
Right. Here's my other. I actually have another Aquaman that I am getting from Heritage. It's fairly nice high grade, but this is probably the most famous one. And
that's a great one.
And I think there's like 2 or 3 9/8. So this is again another. The trade dress on this is legendary.
Yeah. No. That period was pretty cool because you got books like this where they didn't stick to the regular trade dress and they made different, and that always looked very good.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if this is true, but James from Mint Hunter claims he saw an interview with Nick Cardy, and Nick Cardy said that's the only cover I actually didn't do. So he gets credit for it, but James claims that Nick Cardy said he actually didn't do this. So I'd like to see the proof of that before I spread that rumor. But since we're on this show, why not?
James doesn't seem to me to be the type of guy to start shit. So,
but I wish I had more info on it to back up. Next time I haven't seen him for about 2 months, and I'm due to go visit him. I'll ask him to give me the details on that, and then I'll provide more evidence rather than just hearsay and rumor.
This is though how people wonder sometimes how I get to know all this stuff that I do. When I was a kid, I read everything in the comic, letter columns,
That's great.
What was coming, what was ever. And if you ever reading things like Meanwhile that Dick Giordano did, for example, in the early 80s,
right?
You got to learn a little bit of the behind the scenes stuff. And then with comic book magazines would do interviews, you'd get to learn, You get to learn this stuff. And then now Wikipedia, at least, if anything, it does tend to list where the sources are, and I go and find old interviews and stuff as well. So
Well, that's great. Yeah, you. I was just glad to even start reading at some point, so I was happy about that. I wouldn't read the whole thing though. Now, this is stuff I bought a long time ago, and I've kept it over the years. And it's the I don't think I have all of them. I think there's 11, but I just love this Adventure Comics run with the Spectre.
Yes, the Spectre. That's a great one. And you're right, Adrift. I've done that. I read the cereal box top to bottom. Let's see. Adventure Comics. Those ones were absolutely awesome. I did a video on this run, and I just could not get over how this is not people going to jail. This is people going to hell.
Yes.
This is
and that was always sort of Spectre's. Spectre was no joke, even in the Golden Age as well. So this is a continuation. I showed some of the more fun with Spectre that I have. So this is near and dear to me. Those brief Bronze Age run, and I also like the Mandrake Spectre run, and the 90s Spectre stuff was good too.
Mike Paro did all the covers for that Spectre run.
Yep,
and the art as well.
He did. Speaking of that,
Aparo had it easy at DC at that time. He literally got three bi-monthly books. He had Aquaman, and when that was canceled, he got Brave and the Bold, and then he had Adventure.
Yeah.
So, Museum of Fear, what a beaut.
Yeah.
Just a beaut. That was one of the most interesting stories, too, in that run. And for those that are keeping track, that's yet another gorilla cover.
We like our gorillas.
DC sure loved them. I just picked up a book this weekend where it was Secret Society of Supervillains number 8, and it's Gorilla Grodd.
Gorilla Grodd, and there's that Flash. There's some great Gorilla Grodd covers. Do you have the adventure, Strange Adventure with Animal Man, where there's like the gorilla in the zoot suit?
No, I don't have that one, but that would be a good one to get.
I have it somewhere. I'll pull it out some point. It is so green and so crazy. It's
the suits are ridiculous looking to begin with.
They were. This is an old label.
Wow.
So down to 37 here. So I was 39, 38. This is 9.6. It's hard to see on the original labels. But how can you not love the...
I know. Just the background is the best. The part with the Spectre in the background. Oh.
And I will admit, I have exactly one raw comic of this. So that's one of the ones I'm searching for in long boxes. And I just don't find them that often. I find lots of adventure comics for the the Legion era and afterwards the Aquaman. But this is, I guess, popular enough that they don't sit in the boxes too long. Maybe I'm just unlucky. Can't find them. It's possible.
Those I have the entire run of Adventure from 295 till the end.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's all the Legion, all the Supergirls, all of the 70s. They kept changing everything.
Right.
And starting backwards into the Superboy run.
When did it end, by the way, Matt? I don't know.
It ended with issue 490 in 1981, and then it became a digest for a few issues.
Okay.
And I have a couple of the digests up there, and then it came back briefly in 2010 for about a year.
It always makes me sad when I hear World's Finest ended or Adventure Comics, because those were the original DC titles, man. I mean, there's an
old saying that the DC Super 7 from the original days, when you had Detective, Action, Leading, Star Spangled,
More Fun.
Just a second. More Fun, Adventure, World's Finest. Those are your 7.
Yep. I mean, it's
then there's ones like All Flash and Sensation were the other company, All American. So
right. So here we got 36.
Another great cover.
octopus
I
cover.
love that 4 months period where they called it Weird Adventure Comics.
Yes. You wonder what the meeting was like. If we had weird, maybe sales will go up. I don't know. Didn't really make sense.
Yes, Jeff, Jack, that Plastic Man and Starman, that was a short period, I think, between 469 and 480, because the last things, the last stuff in Adventure was Dial H for Hero, which then, when Adventure closed, went to be a backup feature in the New Adventures of Superboy.
Yeah, when I was buying Adventure Comics off the rack, it's early on. I got some of the Aquaman smaller books, but then they became dollar books for a long time, if I recall, right? And they had people
all the Justice Society ones that were in the dollar format,
right? And they had Dead Man and other
Wonder
cool characters
Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, Justice Society.
Yeah, yeah,
or not Green Lantern, Green Arrow. Sorry.
Yeah, it's but yeah, I'll find these raw and read them. Right now, when I'm in front of you, Matt, when I have a book like this, I feel like a pretender in a way because I haven't actually read the book and it annoys me to show it to you. But they're so beautiful.
They are so gorgeous, and it doesn't matter if you've read them or not.
Right.
You can't read. I mean, like I try to do it, but you really can't read everything.
Right. But I plan on finding these. As I said, eBay's cheating. I can't remember if Matt and I were talking behind the scenes or here, but getting raw books, to me, you got to find them in the wild. And I mean, unless you want something really.
This was before we came on, yes. But
right.
I agree with you. The wild is the best.
Yes. When I want a slab of some sort, I'll check eBay, the auction houses, Instagram, friends, whatever. So I don't have any. I just trying to get a good deal. When I'm trying to get raw books, I'm searching the bins. And I was telling Matt I got the X-Men 135 and 137 yesterday. I was like, score, because I'm trying to, of course, finish the John Byrne Cockrum X-Men run 94 to. I'm not sure where we're on the end on that. I think I might go pretty high, but I mean, I have a lot of holes, but I have a lot of them too. I estimated
the stuff you pull out, though, it's hard to believe you have holes at times.
What's that?
Okay. Archivist is asking about Spectre. The Spectre's power is he's literally he started out as being somebody who was, he's God's representative on Earth, so to speak, in terms of vengeance, for the best way to put it. That's the way he is now. That's the way he was in the 60s and 70s. In the beginning, it was a little different. It was more of he let him be. See, they never call him God. They call him the presence, right? The presence let Jim Corrigan's spirit stick around to get his killer. Right. Once that was done, he decided he wanted to fight evil.
It was a good revenge fantasy sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And yes, Jason, the anti-Ghost Rider. Exactly.
By the way, hello, Jason. Here we go. Jim Aparo again.
Yes. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Just
coming out of those mirrors is just so awesome in the warehouse in the story. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
there's a panel of that in the story, and it's even cooler looking.
This one is number 3394.
Yeah, I believe this is the first Weird Adventure. I may be wrong.
We're getting close to
but it's 431 to 440, so.
Yeah, so I'm missing slabbed. I guess I'm missing 40. And do I have?
Hi,
Steven. I don't have 31. I don't have 31. Steppo's there. Love this cover.
Well, 440 and 431 are two of the best issues of the run, because 440 was when there's a girl he likes during this run, okay? And 440, he finally tells her, you got to go because I am always going to be this crazy Spectre guy, right? And 431 is kind of like his origin retold. 431 is when he was considered officially the Earth One Spectre. And that's why the sudden huge change in personality. He wasn't the Earth 2, because the 1960 series is the Earth 2 Spectre.
Gotcha. Well, that was all the A's of sort of stuff that was slightly connected to what I showed you. I'm going to show one Batman because you mentioned trade dress, and this is one of my favorite trade dresses ever.
You're going to show Blockbuster, aren't you?
You are so right. And not only going to show it, though, this is a very high. It's getting this in 9.6 is I think there might not be a 9.8, or there's one 9.8. So it's very
very cool. Well, it's a great cover. That's one of the best Batman covers.
And it's Murphy Anderson, who doesn't get a lot of love, but he was a workhorse. He did a lot of work. And too bad. This would be great if it was also the first Blockbuster, but
no, I think it's a second appearance, eh?
Right. The first Blockbuster is not a great. It's an okay cover. It's
great story, but the cover was not the greatest. Yeah.
Right. Which, who cares? It's all good. All right, we're going to the golden age. If all
right,
if no one has any objection, let me try to organize this a teeny bit before I'm going to go mostly on most recent to with one exception. And I admit I used to have more books, but I've actually traded a few of them recently, which hurts me now. I was even bugging my guy who I traded. I was like, when do you want to trade that back to me?
Here's the book. Here's the book I was referring to. I picked it up this last weekend.
He was a big part of the supervillain team.
I know. Well, actually, if you read the stories, more than half the team are from the Rogues Gallery.
Yes.
So it's pretty cool. It's so cool.
And I like that because that brings Captain Comet sort of back into the action again. I think that's where he came back a little bit after being
right. That's right. He came back to pretend to be a villain, then decided to bring them down.
Right. And then he's also in Legion 88, 89, 90, that series too. So, and I showed the first Captain Comet last time too, which is Strange Adventures 9 or 8. I forget which one.
Yeah, it's pretty early.
This here, I didn't expect to get this one. It was what I call an accidental win. And I sometimes accidentally win something on an auction site when it's really at a low value from what it recently went for. So I'm always, if you try to get big books on auction and you're not paying attention to what they typically go for, you will really screw up and overspend, which I can't say I've never done, but early on I might make that mistake. But this it was hanging so low compared to the last 4 or 5 sales. And this is a nice copy. I had another copy before this that I traded for a big book, but this is this, of course, all of you will know what it is. And Lou Sayer Schwartz cover and art. Do you know what it might be, Matt?
Batman, eh? Oh, geez. Yes. A great book. The first Red Hood, or the original origin of the Joker.
Right. And this one is one of those ones that superheroes were not overly popular in 1951. Yeah. And so it was sort of hanging on by a thread. So there weren't a lot of, they were beat up copies. Getting this in the 5.0 is a pretty high grade for this book.
Well, somehow Wonder Woman, Batman, Green Arrow, Aquaman, and Superman muddled through. So
they did. When a lot of other things went by the wayside, they actually kept going. You're right.
Superman's sales never really went down that much, at least in the 50s. In fact, they went up a little bit after Captain Marvel was gone, because Captain Marvel was gone, so more people were buying Superman. Right. And Superman was in 7 titles. Like the character Clark Kent was in 7 titles at one point. You had Adventure Comics, Superboy. You had Superman, World's Finest, Justice League of America. You had, oh my God, I'm blanking here. Action Comics, and the 7th.
DC
Lois
Comics
Lane.
Presents.
You had Lois Lane and you had Jimmy Olsen. So there was 8 titles.
And later on, you had DC Comics Presents too, which
but at that time, other titles had been canceled. So.
Right. Right. It's a yeah, he's he's iconic.
He is iconic. And I think
Now
he had
last time I had a Kristen Farrell book. I can't remember which one I showed you. It was, I think it was, no, I don't remember. And she was basically a very, very OCD collector who had a great collection, and she sold it all went on auction recently. And I got this from Lee Polanski. Do you know Lee?
No,
Matt?
No.
Lee's Lee really is. He's on Instagram, Polanski LLC. He does fossils, art, pulps.
Very cool.
He used to do a lot more comics. His dad's a hoot. I love his dad. He lives on a lake in Vegas, and he's a coin collector. So he has a lot of coins. So he comes from a collector background, and but he had this at I saw him at the Summit, which is a meeting of mostly golden age collectors that happens. It happens in Dallas, so it's going to happen in Vegas. I'm not going to that one, but not because it's Vegas, but it just doesn't work out. But so he had this book. I had a lower grade copy before this, but this.
Wow.
This up on
second appearance of the Scarecrow.
Yep. And
even says right on there, Return of the Scarecrow.
Right.
But my question is, who was the popular people who demanded the return of the Scarecrow?
Yeah, those people who read World's Finest 3 and really said, who is the Scarecrow? Where did he go?
Yeah. And it's hilarious because the Earth 2 Scarecrow makes only those 2 appearances and makes 2 appearances in the 70s.
Right. Now, I enjoyed your video on Earth 2 Batman. That was very interesting. So here we go. We have Earth 2 Batman here.
That's right.
It takes a lot to keep track of all the Earths, especially because they brought in the Freedom Fighters, the Quality Comics guys, the Shazam world.
All-Star Squadron showed that the Freedom Fighters started on Earth 2.
Right.
And then moved over.
And yeah, it's great stuff.
Yeah.
So here is a little bit of a not a huge controversy, but
let me just say, Brittany, you ain't seen nothing yet.
This next book, some people call it the first cover appearance of Joker. Some people say it's Clayface.
Mm-hmm.
I say it's sort of both because, well, let me show it. So Detective Comics 40.
I would have never, something, it never entered my mind when I saw it because, it's not really clear who that is. And I always thought it was Clayface because it's the Clayface book.
Well, I personally think they did dull down the colors to retcon it.
Then again, it does look like the Joker, but the thing is, the Clayface looks like the Joker.
Right.
With the mask.
This is the splash page from Batman 1 for the second Joker story.
Right. Okay.
So it is actually lifted from Batman 1. But they've recycled stuff, and it's not beyond belief that they took that splash page, put it on here, dulled the colors, because if you look at a splash page, it looks more like the Joker because of the coloring. And they may well have said, okay, we're going to make this actually the first appearance of Clayface now. So I think that's distinctly possible. Pure CGC has decided, or it's Overstreet decided this is actually the Joker. But
if that's the case, that's probably...
I would say the intent of the editors and everybody involved in this may well have been for that to actually be Clayface. So Overstreet be damned, but it's something. When in doubt, get both of them. So the actual.
Unfortunately, we're not in a position to call Bob Kane, Dick Sprang, or Whitney Ellingsworth, who was the editor.
Right, Bill Finger would probably know too. We got to give Bill Finger his due.
Yeah, but Bill Finger wasn't involved on the artistic side, so
right. Yeah. So
or even Jerry, what's his name? Jerry Robinson.
Jerry Robinson. Yeah. But it's a sweet book with nice Bob Kane signature and so golden age, and you got to love the corner box.
I always said Bob Kane was the worst artist with the best lawyer.
He was a good promoter of stuff too. Yeah.
Yes.
He now this next one, I used to have 36, first Hugo Strange, and I am sad to say someone I knew really, really wanted it, and he offered a pretty good price. So, when someone really loves a book, I feel like I'll get it back someday. Not that exact copy, so I sold it to him, and so I do not have that one anymore. But I still have this one, which is one of my favorite covers, my favorite Doctor cover.
Any pre-Robin detective is awesome.
Yeah.
Batman detective.
Yeah, the green and yellow coloring, it's just...
And see, this that looks like Bob Kane himself.
Yeah. And this, I actually... most people probably heard the story, but I'll go through it quick. This was on the... I came to my LCS and they said, we just got a collection and some big books. So I go and they had this raw, and they had it at a 1.5 to 1.8, and they had it reflecting more like my comic store is pretty honest, and they don't know Golden Age super well, but they had it priced at around what a 1.0 to maybe a really good deal for a 1.5 would go for. So I took a look at it and felt like, yeah, it was at least a 1.8. That's what I didn't think it was a 3.0. Honestly, I was like, well, if this ain't at least a 1.8, I'll be shocked. And the price was great. So I just went and got my check. I said, hold that for me. I'll be right back. And
back in the days when they still took checks, eh?
Yes. Well, this was only 2 years ago. So 3 years ago. So, and they know me well enough that they would accept a check for me. And if it didn't pass, they would come. It would be. They trust me for the most part. So I got it, and then I brought it to C2E2 when I went there last, which I think was 3 C2E2s ago, maybe 4. Time moved so quick for me. It could have been 4 years ago I got this. Yeah. And it came back a 3.0. The spine is the main problem. I didn't want to send it for, it's hard to tell looking here. It looks like the spine's pretty good, but you'll have to trust me. Oh, because that's how I wasn't showing the spine. I was showing the pages. You can't tell here. There you can see it better.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you tried to do any cleaning and pressing, it might just detach the spine. So
I wouldn't want to do that sort of thing with those kinds of books. I know that there are people that can do it, and I know, but that's the stuff that's what I don't even want to get my I don't want to get my Action 252 clean and pressed because I'd be afraid of that happening, and it's not going to. And
I wouldn't, Matt, because I think you love raw books. You want to be able to read that book.
Exactly. But I'm going to make I'm probably going to get that graded if I get a chance to do it in person, only because I do have a later reprint so I can read it. And that particular one I would like to keep.
Now, besides the money, I've done this. I graded my original ASM 300 that I bought in 1988 or 89, whenever that came out. It was a newsstand, and I sent it for grading way before I knew diddly squat about it. I probably could have pressed it to be better. It came back in 8.5, and I had that. And recently, I decided I'm breaking it out. So I took it out. I kept the label, so if I ever want to sell it, I'll say it was an 8.5. Graded. And
honestly, though, of all my books, the only one I think I want to get put in the slab is my pedigree one, just because I want to have that pedigree slab,
right?
Header. So
one thing I do, so I'm trying to get a lot of raw books of eras and things that I love, and I love the Swamp Thing story. So I'm trying to get a raw run of the original Wrightson. Who's the next guy after him that did the artist after Wrightson for the same 1 through 20? Nestor Redondo.
Yes.
And then the Swamp Thing saga, and I have the 90s Swamp Thing, the Vertigo titles. I love that. I love that whole series. So I'm trying to get it all raw. And I told you, I usually don't, I look for things in raw boxes, but you're not going to find a House of Secrets 92 in a raw box.
No, you're not.
But my LCS has a Black Friday sale that's really good, and 25% off. And they even did slabs depending on the customer. They wouldn't do it for anybody. If they knew you, they'd do it because they didn't want people just coming in and trying to take all their good books. they always have a little above GPA on their slabs for the most part. So that made a House of Secrets 9250 very palatable. So I got it and I busted it out, and that's my raw book now.
Oh, that's a cool way to do it. I mean, like if you could, but see, you have a little. And I'm not saying this as a criticism or anything. You have a little more resources than I do.
Right. So it does. It takes more money to do it that way for sure, because the implication a lot of time for searching for raw books is you're getting a deal because it's not graded. But big books are going to be expensive even if they're raw for the most part.
And the vast majority of the big books you're going to see now are graded because even the dealers, when they get a hand, like any dealer I sell that to, if I was to sell that 252, the first thing they do is get it graded.
Right. Absolutely. And that's what they do. My store will get a thing and they're like, we're going to send all these off for grading. And it's like, that's what they do.
Exactly.
I mean, it's a way. So the reason I sometimes buy big books that I want raw graded, because I know what I'm getting. I'm not getting something that's no good. And I'm thinking there's some Silver Age books I want raw. I'm thinking of actually buying a restored one, breaking it open and having a raw, like who cares if it's restored, if it's raw and you're reading it. And I'll just keep the label, because usually I don't buy a restored Silver Age and more recent. I never buy a restored. That Golden Age I'll buy restored, but not Silver Age. That's like so 2 huge books, so people know me, probably know what's coming, but
there's your
drum roll, please. Now, as I said, I didn't quite go, and this is now going a little bit. So I showed you Tech 35, which is 1930. When is that? 1940, January of 1940. Yeah. This next one is spring of 1940, so a little bit after that. And,
yes, baby. Batman 1. Does it have the dot?
It does not. But this is the nicest 1.5 blue label you'll probably ever see.
Yeah, that's a gorgeous copy.
It's off-white pages. So usually with a 1.5 Batman, they're so often slightly brittled. I've become a little bit more of a page quality snob as I've progressed in this. And the cover is just beautiful. The spine is the biggest problem. You can see it a little bit there. There's a chunk missing from that edge right there. You can see like a mouse.
Is that rat chew or is that?
You know what? The guy who got it before me couldn't help himself. He found this and took a bite out of it to make sure it was real, like gold.
Oh my God, really?
It wasn't fool's gold. It was real gold. He took a bite.
Wow.
And there's that little piece missing there, but the Bob Kane signature is there. And sometimes to prove it's real, you have to have that piece of the building there. A lot of the reprints don't have that building there, and that's how you can tell it's a reprint.
That's such a beautiful book. And by the way, people, you ain't seen nothing yet.
And this is the first, this is the first appearance of Joker and the Cat.
Yes.
And they're fun stories. If any of you have not read.
And also, isn't it the story, the one story that Batman actively killed people?
No, that was day one practically. That he
no,
killed
but I mean, like this was the last time. This was
Possibly.
the last.
Yeah.
This was the last solo story before, because it was supposed to be the story for Detective 38 until they threw Robin in.
Right.
And it's the Hugo Strange one where he shoots all the people, all the giant people, and kills them all.
Right.
It's pretty cool.
And he, I mean, if you even read the first Robin, like Tech 38, read that someday. Robin and Batman were knocking people off the scaffolding. They probably killed like 4 or 5 people.
Exactly.
They didn't mess around. I mean,
right in the first appearance, a fitting end for this guy.
Yes, a fitting end. He just falls off he is hanging and boom. Now, if you read the Joker story too, Joker was, they talk about Neil Adams making Joker more sinister again, and he made him more sinister, but it's all relative because the 1960s, the 1960s and 50s Joker was sort of goofy by then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what I like
made
about
him more sinister, but he wasn't nearly as sinister as the Golden Age Batman.
Oh, I know. He was just pure. He wasn't a Joker in the sense like I'm a practical Joker. He was
not at all. And he was a badass. The first time he and Batman fought, Joker had him. He beat him up and he threw him over the bridge, and the water woke Batman up. But he got the best of him physically too. He wasn't just some kind of slouch. Yeah,
It's
so
really cool.
it's a fun story. I think the Golden Age Batman is some of the funnest. Some Golden Age stories are really not that good. I'm just going to say there's some terrible ones, but Batman is fun to read. I haven't read some of the later Golden Age Batman, but I've read up to like issue 44 of Detective Comics and the early Batman ones, and they're fun. They're fun to read.
And now the pièce de résistance.
Yeah, this one I still sometimes have to pinch myself that I have it. Now, I didn't spend directly on this. I traded just about every timely book I had, and I was close to getting all 100 Hitler Golden Age covers, and I totally I won't say decimated, because decimated is 1 in every 10. I obliterated most. I had like 20 left out of 80, so I traded a whole crap ton to get this, and I actually got some other books with. I got a Batman 1 with this, not the one you just saw. So in this trade, I got this book and a restored Batman 1, which I have since sold, and now I have that better Batman 1. But so I didn't trade all of the things that I just mentioned for this, but it was a big trade, to say the least. If you know Yaniv, it's typical Yaniv. It's just like,
exactly.
You wake up going, what the hell just happened? And thank God my son was there, because he's actually Jewish and knows how to bargain better than me. No, sorry for the stereotype. So he was busting Yaniv's balls, and he probably saved me $20,000, because I would have been like, yeah, whatever, just take it all. I want the book. And my son's like, no. And because I almost traded my Tech 35, and I got to keep that and a few other things. And he asked Yaniv. Yaniv was like, who's this pain in the ass? Because he didn't really know my son at that point. But anyway, Yaniv he did well. So don't feel bad for Yaniv. So yeah, I mean, Tech 27.
There we go, everybody. The biggie.
This is from the DC Universe collection. DC Universe collection. Someone collected every book from Tech number 1 to every DC book to 2008. They had them all, and then they gave it up to the PBA auction. So if you remember my Sensation Comics 1 that I showed, that was also from the DC Universe. This is a moderate to extensive restoration. Most of the resto is color touch along here. I'm sorry, the other way, here. Right. You can see it a little bit here. The guy's jacket, you can tell a little bit. And but it's a crazy book. Yeah, Chanko, I saw that picture, and I talked to Yaniv today, actually. And interestingly, if you know Matt, I know Chanko is trying to get Matt Nelson on the live show, I believe. Well, Matt Nelson worked on this book in 2005 to restore it. Wow. And he thought it should have been an 8.5, is what he said. But his own company gave it a 5.5. And he did the rest, though, back when people would still send books for restoration before.
Well, that's just it. In the 80s, restoration was all the rage. I go back to my old Overstreets and like, get your books restored. We do this, we do that, and now, of course, obviously nobody does that anymore. Well, they do, but not advertising.
But yeah, and I mean, it's sometimes, and what sometimes people will do is send a book that's already restored to get better restoration, if I may. Yeah. Like it'll be some really amateurish coloring. And they'll and some Steve Kenny Sanders is really he'll like do a better restoration on a book. Like he'll and I've seen him, he'll mix the paint himself, and it's an art, man. It's a real art. And yeah, so this is and if you ever want to have fun, if you have a copy of the back ads, just going through all the ads is and I'm sure you've done that, Matt, as someone who's read books top to bottom, reading the old 1940s and 30s ads.
Reading the ads in books interests me now.
Yes.
They don't interest me in the current books. I mean, there's not really many ads anymore anyway, but the 70s, the 80s, the 60s, the 50s, all had these interesting ads with the classifieds, with the X-ray eyes and all the.
Oh, right. Or Hostess cupcakes with a little story.
Or a garlic gum.
Yeah.
Give it to your friends, because they won't be your friends anymore. But
So
that is an absolute beaut. When I heard you first got that, and when I was like, "Oh my God, that man can get anything."
It's if you have books, you trade for and you get an opportunity and you can trade for it. That's what I did, because there's no way you're putting down cash for a book like this unless you're really. That's so. If you get some equity and you turn it over into a big book, it's I miss, and I've managed to actually, part of that trade was some timelies that I still miss. It's hard,
Mm.
but now
What
at
a
some
beauty.
point when you have me on, we can go over our timelies. I do have a good amount coming, but I mean,
Just
yeah,
look at that. That's a beaut.
yeah, it is hard to believe, and
I
yeah,
mean, that must.
for the longest time, Joan and I would be we're down in my basement. We have a television. We just bring this out and hang out with this like all
I
night.
know. I get that because you okay. When I was a kid, I had
Yeah,
Wayne Gretzky's rookie card.
yeah.
I hung out with that a lot until it was. I actually had that stolen by a neighbor.
Oh,
He took my Gretzky, my Messier rookie, my Coffee rookie, and my Bork rookie.
oh,
Took them all. He knew what he was doing for, and of course, once I knew who it was, and denied it. But it was funny how later that week he was like, "I got like $300."
oh, right. He couldn't. He was like the guy in Goodfellas who couldn't not buy the fur coat after the big heist. Huh?
Exactly. Yeah, I know. But I
I'm
mean,
sorry to
like,
hear that, man. That kind of
but
story.
I get it. I get it. To me, that's my Gretzky
Yeah,
rookie card. I hung out with that like so much
yeah,
when I had it.
yeah. So I mean, and we still do. We'll pull that and some other books, and
Mhm. Well,
and
I really appreciate you coming on, Doc. You have an
my
absolute
pleasure.
amazing collection, and you have a hell of a knowledge. You might not think you do, but you do.
I still feel like I got a lot to learn.
what? No, you're a lot better at remembering these older artists than I am. Artists have never been. I will admit, artists have never been my forte. I'm really good at the '60s to '80s DC guys. Outside of that, I'm
Well,
not too.
it's funny you should say that, Matt, because my brother used to collect with me, and he was the one who knew artists way better. He'd be like, "Oh man, this is Frank Miller." Like I never knew who Frank Miller was. He bought
Right.
this Dark Knight. He got this Dark Knight series, and I was like, "What is this?" Like the first four. He's like, "Frank Miller, man. He's the greatest." he would name drop all the time, and I'm like, "Well, I don't know." And as I've gotten into comics later, I know artists way better than I did as a kid. As a kid, I when I see Neil Adams, I'm like, I remember that as a kid, but I wouldn't have been able to tell you it was a Neil Adams.
He was
Or,
twice my size, and he had a bigger brother to go with it.
well, do
So
you
I
still
had
know who
that.
it is? Like we
Oh
can.
yeah, I know who it is, and I know where he lives too. However, well, I know the area that he lives. I was surprised that
Yeah.
honestly, I'm surprised he's not in prison. But anyway, thank you very much for coming, Badoc. For those that watch this on the rerun, and for those here tonight, giveaway on Sunday, Easter Sunday. That is this coming this weekend, 9 p.m. Eastern. You got to be there to win. And thanks again to Tan for he's donating the prize. I'm not going to reveal it until Sunday, but I can tell you it's a good one. So I will, because I got to pick it up tomorrow, so I don't have it to show at the moment. Thank you all for coming. If you're not doing anything, go check out Nate on Hall Yaz Comics for their hangout. In the meantime, love and enjoy your comics. My name is Matt. I like comics, and I hope you do too. Bye, everybody.
Take care.